In episode 2, I am looking at a potential home for Leana and Cathal in Dublin 24. I'm here with my friend Lisa to look at the potential and the costs of renovating a Doer-Upper. Hey guys, how are you? Come on in. I think I found the perfect house for you.
Let's see.
Let's have a look.
Straight through to the kitchen. Welcome to the house. It has everything that you would want, right?
Yeah, it's nice. Structurally, it's perfect. I could do a bit of updating.
Yeah. Is the decoration?
Well, yes. It's a bit old and it would need updating.
You're not going to buy a Doer-Upper that doesn't need a certain amount of work. So I think this house is great. Like it's in a really established area, so you're going to have all your clubs that you need. It's got a green outside. It's got an existing community, so it does all the stuff that you want it to do. Space-wise, like this is a great open-plan kitchen diner.
Well, I think it's got a lot of potential, definitely.
So what would you do? What are the basics?
Well, new surfaces, probably new presses, tiles. The windows definitely need a bit of updating, but those would be the main things. I think this whole area of the kitchen.
Okay, we'll start off with the aesthetics, right? So you're talking a new kitchen, new bathrooms,
floors,
decoration. What are we talking?
Okay, so kitchen you're looking around 12,000. Bathrooms would be in around 7. Decor and new floors, ground and first floor, probably around 15,000.
So to bring the house up aesthetically, I think you're talking in around an average of about 34,000 for a house, okay?
It just sounds like such a big amount of money on top of what you're already paying. And,
okay.
It's kind of, we've been saving that for a deposit over 2 years.
You can do the jobs in increments. You can actually spread them over a number of years. So it's not like you have a really big initial outlay. So this kitchen is actually functional. So you could live with this possibly for 2 to 3 years.
Follow me. We'll have a look upstairs. So guys, one thing that is really typical though with a lot of these type of houses is the insulation windows, and they can feel very cold in the winter. Depending what you're used to, you're living in a log cabin now. So. But I suppose you don't want to move from a freezing cold log cabin into a freezing cold house. So this is an E-rated house, so it will need to be brought up, I think, to at least a B2, right? So the cost to take this up to a B2, so we're talking, what are the costs for that?
So windows, you're looking in around 10,000, minimum 10,000. Internal dry lining will be around 8,500. And mechanical and electrical, so a new heat pump and new electrics, you're talking around 30,000.
Add all that up, that's about 50,000, right?
Now, you can get some grants on that.
Yes, so like the grants you get if you're buying a new house, you also get grants for upgrading an existing house. They come in at around 22,000.
Yeah.
So the cost then to take the energy rating of this from an E to a B2 is going to be around 28,000, okay? So add that onto your 34.
All right, okay.
Wow.
We wouldn't kind of know.
Yeah, really underestimated how big a project. Even, like you said, this house that wouldn't need that much work is still a pretty sizable project, you know?
I think a lot of the work would get pushed out and we would be just like, oh, we'll do it this time, and then it would never get done.
Cathal, you said you're not worried about doing the work.
A little bit more worried now after hearing all that. Yeah, with that, I think I was kind of really underestimating. Just it's buying a second-hand property and then you do a few bits and that'll be that. But it's kind of actually hearing how much work would go into any second-hand property, let alone one that's nearly ready to move in. It's pretty daunting. Like the grant takes the sting out of it, but it'd be more the money issue that would daunt me than the actual work itself.
But do we have to actually do the energy update?
There is no law to say that you have to do it, but I think it's the right thing to do. If you're coming from a freezing cold log cabin, you will not want to move into an E-rated house. So I think, and with the grants that are available, I think now is the time to do it. Yeah.
And just even the level of comfort from living in an E-rated to a B2 rated house
is huge.
It's huge, yeah.
And you will save it on your bills. Right, well, we have a look at the size of the rooms. Come on in. Okay, so look, it doesn't need a huge amount of work, maybe a new wardrobe and things like that. But again, they can all be done incrementally. Like, we've spoken about getting the house up to a B2, but if you're going to take it up to an A1, which is the same as a new build, you're going to have to spend a little bit more.
Yeah, you're getting more into a deep retrofit as such.
So structural work to the floor to upgrade the insulation. You're talking about your ventilation and you're talking about solar panels. So in and around...
You're in around 20, 22,000 there.
Okay, so if you add all that up, so you've got the aesthetic work is 34,000, in and around 34,000. Taking it from an E to a B2 is in and around 28,000, including the grants, and then another 22,000 on top of that. It could be a little bit more, a little bit less. So I suppose the guts of it is about, what?
84,000.
84, 85.
But in reality, when you pull the string, the thread will keep going. You'll end up more or less doing more.
So there you have it. A Doer-Upper can be fantastic, but there are more than a few considerations. This series is all about the comparison between a new build and a Doer-Upper, so it's only fair that Cathal and Leana get to spend time in a new build. Watch out for the next episode.